But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am.
Albie Shore's back and prepared to take the stand, ready to reveal everything, and I mean everything, he knows about Diddy. And let me tell you, if there's one thing about this man, it's that he's never changed his story.
Many years ago, I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Reportedly, Al is said to be among the people who will take the stand in Diddy's trial. And if he is going to repeat the same things he has been saying for years, it's definitely not going to be good for Diddy's character, which is being put to test in the trial. And by the way, y'all has also added some more info on Kim Porter's situation. So how about we just get right into it? See, before Kim started dating Diddy, she was in a relationship with Albie, and other than having Quincy together, Kim even confirmed that she was the one who inspired Alb's song, Forever My Lady. According to Al, they were actually married, and he first talked about their marriage in an interview with Fox Soul, where he said, "Every time I post something, I forget it's me. I'm a grandfather. So my concern is not being popular and trying to get numbers and likes. That's not what I do, but I posted something the other day talking about my ex-wife. Yeah, I said it, my ex-wife Kimberly, but nobody knew because we didn't discuss being married. We didn't discuss that. Every so often I give her a tribute, okay? The thing is, Al and Kim pretty much maintained a friendly relationship after their separation. And if there's one person who has said time and time again that there was definitely foul play in Kim's death, it's Al.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. It was a lot of the stuff, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be revealed because. And that's why I thought it would be a good idea to finally tell my story.
Y'all remember as soon as Kim's alleged book was released, Albie took to his Instagram to react to a screenshot of Extra's headline. Diddy's late ex Kim Porter revealed his twisted secrets and alleged diary entries. And in the caption, Albie wrote, 2009 through 2018, y'all said Albie Shore has lost his mind and told to go sit down. When he stated this verbatim over time and again on the day of KP's M, ignored by law enforcement. When he shared what LKP told him out of desperation, and warned him to watch his back as well. Bad things y'all said? Please somebody get y'all some medical help. He's lost his mind. In addition, in March 2024, Al insinuated that Diddy played a role in his 2022 coma, and he even said that he was working on a documentary that is going to shock the world.
We are going to be producing the Albie Shore life story. So hold on to your britches. And you'll really understand how I ended up in a coma. You're really going to need to call Homeland Security.
You'll really understand how I ended up in a coma. You're really going to need to call Homeland Security, but you all know that he had already been blowing the whistle for years. Like in November 2021, Albie claimed that in the time leading up to Kim's death, she was running from someone or something, and that he had told her to call the FBI. Then shortly after uploading the post, Albie edited the last part of the caption and removed any mention of the FBI and said that Kim was running a marathon. Al had also previously remembered the moment he found out Kim had been pronounced dead by writing, I just found this footage from the morning I learned of at Lady KP's aka Kim Porter's death and how it ripped the soul from my physical body. I do know very clearly that Nyatkor Kimberly didn't just check out all of a sudden over pneumonia. That's some BS, really. This is where I get in trouble. Albie actually tagged Diddy in the post to make sure Diddy saw how he thinks he was responsible, adding, we just celebrated our son at Quincy's New Deal and Christmas special with Netflix, and she was in fantastic health as well. Laughing seeing me and at Diddy's mutual exchange at the theater, I'm going to leave it here. Well, he is now saying these same things again.
Been quite a journey, and as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through many, almost, more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking, really? What's wrong with you? No way, just not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
So I said that he is soon releasing a tell-all memoir titled Do You Believe Me Now? In the fall, where he will discuss his experiences and truths, including his interactions with Diddy. He also alleges that Diddy and his affiliates may have been involved in events leading to his multi-organ failure. Then he reveals that there was a bounty on his head and that he faced significant opposition when he initially spoke out about Diddy. I'll Be Sure also mentions being subpoenaed in relation to Diddy's trial and expresses his willingness to testify, and specifically states that he is focused on living his truth and is not driven by marketing or personal gain. So does you think?
Do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Of course, Al has not just been getting things from thin air, because to date we have been unable to explain a few things about Kim's death, like the blood that was allegedly located on Kim's pillowcases, and also a slight trail of blood on the bedroom floor that led to the bathroom. Actually, based on reports, Kim was not found unresponsive in her bed, but she was discovered on the bathroom floor, and if they found her in bed, then she was strategically placed there. And let's not forget that the original coroner who conducted the first autopsy on Kim suspected foul play with the amount of a certain toxin that was found in her system. Something else is that Kim's last call was reportedly to 911 at 2:43 a.m., but she was found later the next morning at 11 a.m. There were actually reports not so long ago that Kim's family was seeking legal advice and was in pursuit of hitting Diddy with a lawsuit for wrongful death because they had physical evidence to support their case. So when Al keeps saying that he is suspicious about what happened to Kim, he knows exactly what he is saying. And, it's also always been a bit sus that the people who worked with Diddy when Kim was alive are all dead. Except Al. See, Kim was the longest working employee at Uptown Records because she was there from the very beginning. As Andre's personal assistant, Kim is dead, Heavy D is dead, Andre Harrell is dead, the only two lefts are Diddy and Al and almost died. Oh, and he gets even more suspicious loves. Heavy D was found face down and his cause of death was a heart attack. Andre Harrell also apparently died of a heart attack. And as for Kim, it was reported that she died because of pneumonia. Also, why is it that Andre was writing a book before he died? Heavy D was writing a book before he died. I'll Be Sure was working on a documentary about his life before he went into a coma, and Kim was also writing a book before she died. Speaking of Kim's book, I know there was one which came out which we couldn't verify, but apparently the real book was supposed to have details of how Kim protected Al Be Sure from running into Diddy and telling him to not go to certain places because she knew exactly what Diddy was capable of. Kim also allegedly planned a spill on how Diddy roughed her up a couple of times, how she was isolated and manipulated, how she would use a strap-on to please Diddy and hysterically cry alone after doing so, how her house was being wired, phone lines were tapped, how Diddy was paying personnel to watch her closely, and even details of how Diddy wanted full custody of the twins. But Kim threatened to expose him if he ever took her kids from her. Allegedly, there were also supposed to be details of how the East and West Coast fake things to eliminate Tupac and Biggie to obtain their masters, because Pac and Biggie were allegedly planning to get together and challenge Bad Boy and Death Row on the rights to their music. And something else that Kim was allegedly going to release in her book is Diddy's relationships with other men, including the ones he allegedly took advantage of. Like Usher. I did say allegedly though, right?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the...
Well, the book that came out also had a bit of dirt on Al, and there was an excerpt of the book that alleged that Kim witnessed Diddy and Al engaging in an act that took her so far back that she had to exit the room to go across the street to go to China. In Kim's alleged words, I remember him saying, It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys. Sean responded, thanks, man, me and you, we've shared so much. Al replied coolly, word. The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, we all been together sexually, but not together. I was shocked for a moment as quietness lingered in the room. I asked, what do you mean by all together? Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed? I couldn't believe it. Oh, hell no, Sean, this is my son's father. I'll say something. What Al said was mind-boggling. I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way. Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this. The truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship. And if things became awkward, how would it affect Quincy? So I asked, are you both sure? I imagined both of them inside of me. I knew this would be awkward sex. There would be some bumping of genitals, but what happened next? I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. All denied the claims in the alleged book, by the way, and even said he would sue. But you know what? Let's just focus on the things he said about Kim. Well, I also know that there are people who say that they don't trust Al because he's always come across as selfish. I mean, remember, right after Quincy put out a statement saying that the conspiracies surrounding Kim's death have caused him and his siblings distress, L was just posting a bunch of weird stuff. In addition, in the caption about the alleged memoir, he said he will be suing. And he seemed to be more pissed that his name was mentioned in the memoir than the actual subject matter, which was just selfish to make matters worse. Was also out here openly questioning why Quincy was still following the man who put his hand on his mother. So we've had people saying that they don't really trust him. But I'm personally looking forward to what he is going to say on the stand. Is he going to reveal more details about Kim? Will he reveal details about what happened to him? Child, I know it's going to be juicy, but as we wait, let me know what you think about Al. Taking the stand in the comments section below. See you next time. Thanks for watching.